Hello, everyone. My name is Caroline Manjarez, and I am the Service Insights intern here at Food Finders Food Bank. Today, we're going to go over service insights and what check-in will look like from here on out for our mobile pantries. The first thing I'm going to do is go over the iPad, the buttons to use, what it looks like, and then from there, we'll go into how to use service insights and what it is. Okay, so this is what the iPad is. It's got a little thing to put your hand in. If you would like to bring your own stylist to do check-in, by all means. All right, so the first thing is there's this button right here on top. That's what you're gonna click, and it's gonna turn the iPad on. All right, and then from there, we have this button down here. You'll click into it, and then a password's gonna come up. The password is 12345 6. So we'll go ahead and we'll type that in and it'll get you all logged in. So this is what it's going to look like on the iPads. Everything is big enough to see. I've never had anybody have a problem with glare or seeing what's on the iPad. But this is what Service Insights and our new check-in system will look like. So with the iPads, it's like a phone. It's like a really big phone. Sometimes they do get hot and decide that they're going to shut off. If they do that at your mobile, you will have a clipboard that has a paper sign-in sheet that you can use from there on out. And then just make sure that those sign-in sheets get back to whoever from Food Finders is there, so that they can come back to me to make sure that we get those inputted for the day for that mobile. And on those clipboards as well is the same graphics, a laminated sheet of what I'm going to use in this training today. So if you're going through the iPad and you have a question or you're confused, you can always reference this and it should be able to help you figure out what your next step is. So next, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through the presentation of how to use Service Insights. All right, so first we're going to talk about what Service Insights is. Why are we changing the type of intake that we normally do? So Service Insights is a data collection program that was given to us by Feeding America, who is our kind of umbrella corporation that a lot of food banks are underneath. So they created this for us for check-in. So with this program, we'll collect data for neighbors who use our services. At some point, this will be in many of our agency pantries, but right now it's just going to be with our mobile pantries. And this data will help us advocate for our neighbors and also help us better know their needs based on demographics. If we have a lot of children in one area, we can bring different food. If we had a lot of more of one race, we can bring different food based on that. And so because we're collecting more data on our neighbors than we have in the past, we have to keep in mind that we'll treat all of this information that we take with dignity and respect. If they don't want to provide certain things or feel uncomfortable answering any questions, we'll do our best to provide them services no matter what. And they are allowed to decline giving said information. And it can be very easy to begin questioning neighbors on the info that they give us. Just take the information given and move on. I know with many people volunteering in their own communities that they may know some people. Just make sure that if you do find out things at mobiles that you didn't know before, that you don't talk about it and it doesn't become information that goes past the mobile, use the Vegas rule. Just make sure that because they're giving it with confidence that it'll stay there, that information does stay there. Alrighty. So the next thing I want to go over to is going to a mobile pantry is already a vulnerable experience for many of our neighbors. Asking for help for a good majority of people is not a very easy task to do. So now that we're collecting the amount of information on people that we are, try to understand the feelings that can accompany coming to a mobile pantry. Always try to smile and make eye contact to form a connection, and address the neighbors by their name to show respect. And lastly, try to address and listen to all concerns that the neighbors may have. If they're concerned about where this information's going, if they're going to receive food based on their answers, make sure that you are either able to answer those questions or that you can get somebody who can answer those questions. All right, so next we're going to go on to what Service Insights looks like. So I just showed you that this is what our platform looks like on the iPads. And the really nifty thing about this is it updates in real time as we go. So as you're going through a mobile and checking people in, it'll tell you total households served, how many children, adults, seniors. So that's really nice because it's not just paper that it's kind of a guessing game. We can see all of that as we go throughout our mobile pantry. All right, so we are going to go through the steps of adding a new neighbor. So with adding a new neighbor, this is something that if you feel confident doing with the iPads, by all means, go for it. If not, we will have clipboards where you can add new neighbors and you won't even need to do this step. So the first step, and kind of how I showed you on the iPad in the last slide is, so this is what the screen looks like. So on here, where it says add new household, that's going to be right above the search bar. So orange buttons are your friend. That's normally indicates that you're going the right place and you're doing it right. So you'll click that to add a new household. Then a profile that is empty will pop up that you can scroll. Okay. So once you see that, you've gotten in the correct place. Now, the first section is basic information. We're going to get the name of the head of the household or whoever is there picking up. We are going to get first and last name and the date of birth. If they are uncomfortable giving the date of birth, which I've had some neighbors not want to give that, just ask their age, or if they're an adult, a senior, and then just put an age. It's not likely that somebody will not give you their birthday. Most of the time, people just rattle them off. So our third step is asking what their gender identity is. Just go ahead and ask the question as it presents itself. 98% of the time, 99% of the time, they're going to tell you male or female. There are going to be instances that somebody may tell you that they're non-binary, trans. If that's not an answer that you've ever heard before, or maybe something that you disagree with, please just put it down and move on. No commentaries needed, no kind of a face of judgment. Just please take it and move on, and don't make the neighbor feel any type of way based on maybe your reaction of their answer. And then number 4 is the next step, which is contact information, which is mainly just the address. So we want their address and their physical address. If they give you a PO box, we can't do anything with that. So please try to get their physical address. The nice thing about the Service Insights app is that it auto-populates with Google. So when you start to put in 2004 Greenbush, it'll figure out, oh, that's in Lafayette, Indiana, and that's the zip code, and it'll auto-populate these other boxes. Now, sometimes if it's a newer address or if it's out in the county, it can have a difficulty finding that. So you can just go ahead and type like city, Lafayette, state with a drop-down box, click Indiana, put in the zip code that they tell you, and put in the county. And that's good enough. So then the next part is email address and phone. We don't need these. We're not collecting contact information from the neighbors. So just go ahead and click no phone, this box right here, and move on. All right, so the next part is how many are in the household. So before you had the old sheets where you'd put so many in the household. It's the same thing. So, but this is not including the person that's over here in the basic information slot. So if I'm over here in the basic information slot, but I have a husband and a child, then I'm gonna mark my husband as one adult right here, and I'm gonna mark my child right here, but I'm already right here, okay? So this is not including themselves. And so from there, then it'll make these drop-down boxes that have categories of adults and children, and also if there's a seniors. You can leave it as adult 1. The last name auto-populates itself to whoever the head of household's last name is. I don't need their date of birth. And to make it even easier for doing check-in at the mobiles, I don't even need their age. So if they say it's an adult, go ahead and put 50 here. And if it's child, put 10. And if it's a senior, put 80. We can't bypass this step, so I'm just trying to make it as easy for you as I can. And then at the bottom of this profile screen, it's going to say continue. Go ahead and click it. It'll take you to this next screen. We don't collect poundage with our mobile pantry, so you're just going to go ahead and click finish. And that is what the new neighbor intake looks like. If you're pretty good with technology, it's a very quick and easy process. If you're a little iffy with your technology, by all means, use the clipboards. And if you think that you're ready to do this, go for it. So next we're going to do the part that everybody will be doing on the iPads, and that is returning neighbors. This is literally the simplest thing ever, and it can happen in like 2 seconds. It's very quick. Okay, so instead of going up to this button to add new household or visit, you're going to use a search bar. Now you can either look up a neighbor by a birthday or their last name. If they swear up and down they have been to a mobile and seen the iPads, but you can't find it through their last name, always try their birthday. That's a great way to find them. Sometimes names get spelt wrong. Maybe I can't read the handwriting when I put it in and it gets construed. That's okay. So for this person, I'm looking them up by their date of birth and they pop up. I always make sure with returning neighbors, I'm like, oh, you live on Greenbush Street. And if they're like, yes, then I'm like, okay, cool. So then you're going to click add visit. It's going to have that whole profile that we went over, but it's going to be filled out. So from there, just scroll all the way to the bottom, unless they tell you that there has been a change within their household or a change of address or anything. Scroll all the way to the bottom. And every time that we see a neighbor and check them into the system, it's going to ask a new question. So instead of the first time we see them like completely bombarding them, it'll ask a question on their second visit, their third visit, their fourth visit, and so on. So if the question bar is condensed, like the SNAP benefits one, don't answer it, don't worry about it, move on to the next. If it is dropped down like employment status, go ahead and answer it. All you need to do is just read verbatim what it says. They will give you an answer. You click whatever it is, you move on to the next. Sometimes the system like drops down all the questions at the same time. If it doesn't have like a little asterisk by it of like required, you can skip it. And then again, you click continue at the bottom, just like for a new neighbor. We don't collect the poundage, so you click finish. And then this nice little box will pop up in the middle of the iPad that says visit has been added. You click done. That's it. nothing else to do. You have checked in the neighbor and that is good to go. So that's the end of this training. I hope that this helps you when you get the iPads in your hands, that it's a little easier, and that you kind of have a familiarity with what this is going to look like. And again, if you see me at a mobile with the iPads, you have any questions and concerns, please ask, or whoever has emailed this to you, they can also answer any questions or concerns that you may have about the iPads or Service Insights. So thank you.